contracts with key military customers.
Today, folks, we're diving down into a super fascinating sector of the market, and I'm talking about American defense and military base stocks, more particularly one called K-West, which focuses on innovations in tactical systems with over a dozen products that they already have licensing with the U.S. Defense Department. This is just one that is super entertaining to go to. So when they actually reached out to me and I went through like their balance sheet, the whole company overview, the products they're making, I was like, heck yes, I gotta review this. So I'm leaving the full disclosure in the description below. The company trades under the ticker symbol KWE. It is the definition of a penny stock, but again, fairly robust, which you'll see as we go through it. So the first thing we're going to do is hear from the CEO who did an interview, and I just want to kind of take tidbits from it. Then we'll get into some of the really interesting stuff this company does. So in the clarity of my transparency, just do the channel a favor, hit that like button, and let's jump right into this.
Global defense and security space, and it is first and foremost a company with some valuable leading technologies, but also has a very experienced team from the industry who have accomplished great things in the past. Been there, done it before, and this is a repeat of a winning strategy about how to bring new technologies for today and for tomorrow to the marketplace. And secondly, there are many ways to win. One of the attributes I like as an investor in this company is it has got multiple technologies in its portfolio. They're synergistic and complementary, but they also work standalone. And third, the fact that here we are today with a public company status, meaning that the company has access to capital. Fundamentally, it's an opportunity to invest in a business with all the attributes I look for as an investor. I'm a very big investor in the company, so I look for multiple proprietary technologies that are addressing growth markets, global in scale. As I say, where there are many ways to win.
Welcome back, passive income investors. Now to kick this off, that is a lot longer of an interview, and we're going to listen to a little bit more tidbits later on, but I wanted to stop it here just to more particularly hone in on their current product listing, because this is just some really interesting and entertaining stuff all around. And just taking a look at their current systems, guys, they've got networked systems, counter drone systems, ground laser defense, electronic decoy systems, smart ordnance systems, and one of the ones that I found most interesting was the counter drone system, which I guess it can just get AI itself up into the air and find like basically any enemy attack drones and just take them out of the sky. And just taking a look, guys, it's a guided and fully autonomous, identifies and locks onto rogue drones to track, hunt, and neutralize them with kinetic impact. Now, they're stating that any one of these products can be standalone or they can all operate integratively together, which is kind of interesting because they do everything from indirect fire platforms and mortars, heavy machine guns, grenade launchers, snipers, laser defense, electronic decoys, counter drone missiles, we just talked about, drone and surveillance. And they state K-West is a proud leader in advancing the modern network capabilities of soldiers and responders, including the Network Soldier System mission of NATO and its allies, with niche applications that make critical differences to safety and effectiveness here, guys. And just kind of continuing forward, they just announced literally December 14th a $1.1 million order, which I'm going to explain to you what this is, because with a key U.S. military customer to expand use of a company's TASCS and IFM system in military exercise, a key precursor for a wider adoption. Now, what this system is for an 81mm mortar platform, which transforms it into a smart weapon system with a greater accuracy and faster response times. According to K-West founder and president, this marks another key validating milestone in the market where these TASCS IFM on these 81 mortar alone could ultimately be worth about $120 million in the US and another $400 million worldwide, given the large installed base of these 81mm mortars in service with so many NATO and allied military forces. So putting that aside, before we dive down into their balance sheet, guys, I just want to take a look at their current outlook and kind of where they're going and what they're doing. I'm just going to throw this up on the screen because in 2020, they just got their US OTC listing, 3 million subscription agreement and financing, 1.6 million in private placement. You know, they got the drone missile demos. They got a lot going on here. Moving into 2021, they're getting into additional OEM partnerships, first oversee orders, oversee rollout, shot counter productization, follow on OEM orders. Now, I don't want to sound like an idiot because this is a sector of the market I haven't particularly dived too much into, so I don't obviously understand a lot of these products, but most people are aware that military stocks are relatively recession proof, especially once they get their foot in the door, which makes the risk reward on this penny stock a little bit more attractive, considering right now it's trading at about a $40 million market cap. They kind of give you a little bit of a valuation metric that I'm just going to throw up on the screen because they're just kind of comparing themselves against all the current competitors where they kind of say that they're trading well under value. But let's just dive into the balance sheet real quick, and then we're going to listen to the latter half of that interview. And just taking a quick look at this growth company, but I was actually pretty shocked to see that they had about 3.4 million in total assets against their total liabilities of 3.1. They're actually not operating on a deficit here. Things get relatively interesting. For the 6-month end of 2019, guys, they only did 122,000 in revenue with a cost of sales of being around 31,000 against 2020 doing 649 in revenue. And I got to zoom in a little bit because apparently that's only costing them 138,000. So that means their margins on these products are pretty incredible, but they are operating on a loss here, guys. And that isn't actually from the product sales themselves, but comes into the consulting fees, the business development, the stock-based compensation, travel and conference. So this is where a lot of the risk is going to come into play, of course, as currently the operating loss for the 3-month end in 2020 was 464,000. If I'm reading that correctly, sorry, it looks really small on my screen here. When you're talking about small cap growing companies, I was shocked just to see that this company had a positive underlying asset value. And again, guys, the fact that the growth rate they're currently experiencing, if it is something they can continue moving forward, getting into that overseas exposure and just really fully tapping into the US defense system, if you have that kind of risk tolerance and you want that kind of risk exposure, and this is something that suits your investment style, I mean, all the power to you. But let's take a moment, listen to the latter half of that interview and just see what else the CEO has to say.
Well, fundamentally, it's an opportunity to invest in a business with all the attributes I look for as an investor. I'm a very big investor in the company, so I look for multiple proprietary technologies that are addressing growth markets, global in scale, and where there's a proven leadership team, and in this case also a proven, very seasoned, very accomplished technology team, and an operating model that's got mixes of revenue streams, including recurring revenue, and that scales well because it's got an operating model where it outsources production, so there's no big investment in plant and equipment. So we've been announcing recently, and we should expect to see more of this, contracts with key military customers that are incorporating products from the company into their military training exercises. That's a very important milestone to have got that far. It's not an industry that goes from $0 to $100 million overnight, but there's definite stages there that mark progress. Also more partnerships with major defense and security companies like the ones we've announced already with Mantech, with AeroVironment, the relationship with Samsung. This is all a very important part of our go-to-market plan, and so investors should look for more of that as well. The company has the capital to execute on its plan. It did a raise in conjunction with going public. With this, it's able to use a playbook from the past. It's been very successful. We've created some, brand name companies that have dominated their niches in the world. This is a repeat and hopefully on an even bigger scale.
In light of all of this, folks, I pass the question off to you. I would love to know what you think, along with any other military defense companies that you find interesting, ones that you might own. Let me know in the comment section below, and maybe I'll do another review down the road. These are just some of the most entertaining sectors of the market that we don't nearly hear as much about. So it was really fun doing this deep dive, and I really appreciate the company reaching out to me. And if you guys enjoyed this, again, just consider hitting the like button and subscribe for future videos like this one. But in light of all this, stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you tomorrow.